Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is Kimmy Trails coming at ya with a video update, some more clues for some of the patterns I'm seeing and the messaging that can be found
Sure goes pretty deep.
all over the place.
Need an escalator to get down here.
Right now I'm taking you down into the metro tunnel in Seattle.
It's kind of amazed me, this underground terminal they have here. I thought I'd give you guys a little voyeur. Oh yes, the link. The Century Link. Did you guys look at this? I mean, yeah, New York, you hear about the subway station, Seattle? And you know what? There's even another tunnel that they don't even use anymore that's been put out of commission. That is even, obviously this has been renovated. This is more modern looking in here. But I'm aware of another tunnel. I don't think you can get access to it anymore. Maybe you can. I'm not sure. But, yeah, they've modernized this. This used to look kind of, like antiquity. Rising out of the ground from the bedrock beneath, not as sitting traditionally upon the surface as a part of the earth. Rather than a thing. Apart from weird. Did I miss something? Apart from
Okay, folks, that was a little showcase of the metro tunnel in Seattle. You can see there's some weird cryptid message there in the stairs coming up. And with the help of some people on my previous channel, we started to decode that. And it forms a magic square. And I went on to actually figure out what the last little part of it is likely to be. And what I've got is rising out of the ground from the bedrock beneath, not as sitting traditionally upon the surface as a part of earth, rather than a thing apart from the chosen ones. Or in other words, the people with the name that shall not be named, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, these magic squares are very, very interesting, and basically the concept is that You use gematria to figure out what the numerical value of these words are, and then they add up horizontally, vertically, and diagonally across, and they all add up to equal the same number. And you can see in this case it's 24. Very interesting indeed. Very interesting indeed. Okay, so I just wanted to start this video with that little display because it's been on my mind a lot lately. And yeah, just kind of keeping me up at night. You can see here I've got my my channel here. I've got 2 videos loaded now, and I'm working on the 3rd one. This is probably going to be a quick one because it is, shoot, almost 6 in the morning. I need to probably call it a night, but there's just so much. I don't even know where to start with this topic because I really do have just an amazing amount of information. Now, Google tonight has come out with this snazzy little picture like they always do, and see if I can blow this up a little bit. There we go. And yeah, how cute. Looks like we've got an eclipse in the left eye. The right eye's got a patch over it, which is typical because we see that a lot. Something to do with the left eye, and perhaps evil comes through the left eye, or I'm not exactly sure how the tale goes, but something to do along those lines. We've got a trumpet. We've got these little party hats. And then I'm also noticing, well, these weird looking spaceship craft rocket looking things. Okay. We've also got our 44 here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 44. If we count, let's see here. How was I looking at that? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 3, 1, 12, 31. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, 3, 1, or something, who knows. But you can get that value on this side too. I got to look at this some more. It just came out tonight, but it's definitely of interest. Now, the thing that I'm noticing the most, well, there's a couple things. First of all, we've got fireworks going out and exploding in the Google pattern, except for we've got this oddball here that seems to be coming from like a green star, and it seems to be more inbound, causing a swoosh. Very interesting indeed, if you ask me. Not giving me warm and fuzzy feelings. Now, here's the second part about this that is really, I find disturbing. Let's see if I can go in even further. You guys see that in the background? Right here? That sure looks a lot like Mount Rainier and the Puget Sound, reflecting on the water. And then, of course, we've got the Space Needle fireworks that happen every year off the Space Needle on New Year's Eve. And this is the New Year's Eve Google post. So, yeah, not too sure, but here we've got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, 3. I don't know, your guess is as good as mine, but it's not looking too good on that. Okay, so there's, I guess that's Exhibit B. Go ahead and move on to Exhibit C. Now, as we've been talking about, and I've been, my last introduction video, I had mentioned that I'd been getting some threatening messages that had related to hugs and kisses. And I'd like to give you a kiss goodnight or the long kiss goodnight. And I'm not sure if any of you have seen that movie, but that had a ton of predictive programming for 9/11. Adam Green from No More News showcased that quite well. Now, one thing that comes to mind now with hugs and kisses is it's traditionally a way that you sign off at the end of a letter with an XOXO. And it's odd because an X represents in Roman numerals 10. So really what we've got here is it 20? Or if we go like this, XOXO, now we've got 2020. I'm not sure, but it's kind of where my mind goes. Anyway, I thought I'd just bring up the gematria calculator, and I'm not sure which one's the best. I've been using this one because it seems to be, I don't know, seems to be the best one I can find out there. I've tried them all. Now, under XOXO, let's see, let's go ahead and calculate. Well, right off the bat, we get some weird stuff. Yeshua, Keystone. What's that? Seattle disaster? Interesting. Olympians, which is about 60 miles away from Seattle. And I might add, I know that there's been a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but there's been a few videos lately, like James Brockworth and A Plain Truth, talking about the hidden, hidden messages in the Wizard of Oz, and they talk about the Emerald City. Well, it just so happens that Seattle is called the Emerald City. And then 60 miles south of Seattle, we have Olympia and Mount Olympus and the Capitol Dome. And the architecture on the Capitol campus is very strange. Very strange indeed. We've got steps that add up to 11 and 9. We've got 9 11s. We've got 11 11 19. We've got 20s. We've got all sorts of stuff built into the architecture. The Temple of Justice building has got two big, well, I'll show you a picture of that here in a second, but basically it's a Greco-Romano building that has 22 columns, 2 on each end, which would represent 2020, because 1 1 actually equals 2 if you look at it in a certain way. And then there's 18 columns that go across the front of the building. So you've got 22 columns, which 11 we know is the master number and 22 is the master builder number. And I wonder if there isn't something to all of that numerology with 2020. I can't help but think so. But you can see here just by a quick look at this XOXO, you get your pizza, wow. Blockchain, Kennedy, Bethlehem, left eye. Just like on that Google. And also on Lawrence Halprin, who we're going to get to in a second. Where's the patch over the left eye? We've got a lot of people that do that. We see the Hollywood stars covering their eye. It's everywhere. Anyway, kind of interesting. Oh, I think I went and saw the new Star Wars the other night, and they have a movie called 1010. Interesting. And it had a ton of predictive programming, as all of the movie trailers did. Now, there's one other thing in Olympia that I found to be strange. And let's see, I got a lot of stuff going on here. Okay, here it is. Now, in Olympia, we have a statue called the Kiss. And as you can see, we've got a guy with his hand in his pocket, the hidden hand. Very interesting. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. Kind of weird that XOXO brings up Olympia and Seattle disaster. We've got a statue here that's got the Kiss, called the Kiss, with the hidden hand. Just another observation. Here's another. Oh, here we go. Hugs and kisses. Oh man, nuke stuff. We've got eyes darkened. Usually it's not till you get down into this Hebrew stuff that you get what you're looking for. Okay, here we go. 666. Baron Trump. That's all, folks. 33. The fifth element. Monatomic gold. 33 spelled out. 666 spelled out. Crooked Hillary. Where have I heard that before? Knights of Malta. Coming of Messiah. Climate change denier. Biblical prophecy. Wow. Okay. So that was hugs and kisses spelled out. Now here is another gematria calculation that I already pulled this up before the vid so that it could be ready, but I guess I can calculate it again just for giggles. Fort Lewis is the military base that's here in the Puget Sound, and it's like huge. And on my last video, you probably saw some video of a convoy going down Interstate 5. That was all coming from Fort Lewis. It was the biggest convoy I'd ever seen, and I wish I could have got better video of it, but as you could probably barely see because it's hard to tell, but there's armed guards on those Stryker tanks, and there was also direct energy laser weaponry on those Stryker tanks. Those are the new Stryker tanks, and there was a mother lode convoy bigger than I've ever seen. It took like 3 hours to get down the highway because they had so many military vehicles, and they were all heading to Seattle. Now, if we look at Fort Lewis, we get September 11th. Okay. Guerrilla warfare. It gets better. It gets better. Vatican City. Johnny Depp. Armistice Day. Algorithm. Ancient Hebrew. Devin Nunes. Bird of Paradise. Unless I missed it, it usually pulls up Seattle boom. I shit you not. Did I miss it? There it is. Communist Seattle boom. Wouldn't you know it? John Podesta. Never noticed that one before. So I guess what I'm trying to get my point across here is that these sick individuals use gematria to code their names, and it's all just some big cipher, and this is how they communicate with one another. It's clear that it's just too coincidental on some of these that it would line up like that. And I think they're looking at these number values like 127. There's a few of these that are just like the state bird of Washington is the goldfinch. If you type that in, you get all sorts of weird stuff. If you type in Zeus or Olympians or Capitol Dome, or I've got a list a mile long, and they all come up with some weird stuff. Apple State, Port of Olympia, Puget Sound, Emerald City, they all come up with weird stuff. And I'm not going to go and take you through all that right now, because I love you people, and I don't want to take you all through all that. I know that you guys are avid researchers and can get to the bottom of this stuff without me having to take all night on a video trying to show you. So here I just typed in 1111, and oh yeah, we get some weird stuff, of course. Again, it doesn't really start getting too juicy until you get down into the Hebrew stuff. I'm in radiation, alien signal, atomic spiral, a radiation rate, energy signal, nuclear signal. Yeah, not a lot of good stuff going on there. Every now and then you get a good one. It makes me wonder if maybe they took something that was like beautiful at one time, the Dark Knight, or something that was divine, and then what they do is they attach their evil words to it and kind of turn it into an abomination. That's what I find. And I'm just going to do one more gematria, a little exercise here. I forget which one this was. I wouldn't have done it if I didn't think it was going to be a good one. Oh, turtle. Yes, our friend the turtle. Yeah, I thought this was interesting because here we have Russell, which the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks is Russell Wilson. Got guardian angels. We've got one eye. There it is again. Catastrophic. Reptilian Nephilim. I think this one is the one that has 6 toes, which I find to be very interesting. Freemason, Kushner, Bye, MK Ultra, $1, Paperclip, Operation Paperclip, anyone? Doomsday, Toyota, Death Star, Don't Panic. Interesting. We're going to get to this panic here in a second. Ouija board, Geronimo, Aphrodite, man, I thought this was the one. Oh, Beyonce, of course, we got to have her in there. Anyhow, one of these pulls up one that has an entry that says 6 toes, which we all know what that means. Okay. Again, here's my channel. I've got my 2 videos up now, folks. Please do watch, share a like. Please feel free to comment, like, subscribe. Just trying to get this message out. Again, if there is going to be some event that's going to pop off on New Year's, obviously it's New Year's Eve right now, 6 in the morning. I don't know how many people can be reached. Pretty late in the game, but nonetheless, important to get this information out, because if something does, in fact, pop off, well then, hopefully we can use this information to try to avoid or to prevent anything in the future, for future generations. Okay, so now while we're on this topic of Seattle, Pacific Northwest, Puget Sound, I'd just like to remind everyone that we do have 2 big nuclear towers that were built, I believe in the 70s or the 80s. And they said that they spent a boatload of money building these things. And then they said that they were decommissioned, they were never going to use them, or blah, 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 blah. And I'm not quite buying it. And they're still out there. They still have steam coming out of them from time to time when I drive by. It's a huge nuclear installation out here. It's called Satsip Nuclear Plant. It reminds me of, there's a Bible in one of the scriptures, and I'm not totally well versed. I don't remember which one it is exactly, but there's a verse that says, and he sat atop of the throne, or something along those lines. And when I look at Satsip, it looks just like sat atop. So I can't help but wonder, is there something to it? Is there something to it? Now, here's Lawrence Halprin. Well, I'm going to skip over Lawrence Halprin. We're going to circle back around. He's very important to this little narrative. He's like Exhibit G probably tonight. I can't remember what exhibit we're on, but there's a lot of exhibits. I'm trying to keep this video short, so wish me luck. There's just too much. Okay, so right next to these Satsip Towers, we've got a place called Oakville. And many moons ago, I had a close friend that used to work for the Department of Agriculture. And so I know this is, Snopes and whatever bullshit, truth, fact finder channels that are out there that they say they've debunked this thing. I'm here to tell you folks, that's not true. Because I knew someone who was on the receiving end of the phone calls at the Department of Agriculture for Washington State, and then was basically a gag order not to talk about it after this happened. So anyway, this is catty corner to the Satsip Towers. And as the story goes, I'll read it to you here, but basically it was raining goo balls. And people thought it was jellyfish or frogs or fish, who knows, but it was the weirdest thing. And it was just like this white, gooey pistachio or whatever, tapioca rain. So I'll just go ahead and read a little bit of this to you, because I think you'll find it very interesting. Most people probably haven't heard about it. Even people in this Washington State aren't aware of this has happened, because they did such a good job of kind of sweeping it under the carpet. But so frog, toads, fish, snakes, and even stones have all reportedly fallen down from the sky like rain at some point in time. One Florida resident even reported actual golf balls falling from the sky. In most cases, these acts of nature are easily explainable. After all, the rain golf balls can be explained by a waterspout passed over a golf course. But there is a weird weather storm that to this day still has not been explained. In Washington State. In the town of Oakville, Washington, on August 7th, 1994, it began to rain sometime around 3 a.m. Although rain in the Pacific Northwest is quite common, it was the falling substance that caused some concern. They were tiny, translucent, gelatinous globules about the size of a grain of rice. A police officer working that night noticed them when he turned his windshield wipers on when he first thought it was raining. The substance immediately smeared across the windshield and obscured his vision. Pulling over, he got out and inspected it closer. The globs were small and mushy. Looking around, he noticed they had fallen everywhere. By that afternoon, several residents of Oakville became violently ill. They reported having difficulty breathing, vertigo, blurred vision, and nausea. A large number of cats and dogs who came in direct contact with the substance became ill and died. Now, one instance of this unusual rain would have been enough to pique curiosity, but when it occurred 6 more times over a period of 3 weeks, the residents of Oakville were desperate for answers. Would you look at that? The townspeople of Oakville, Washington were in surprise on August 7th, 1994. Yeah, I bet. What the technicians discovered was shocking. It looks like they sent some of the blobs in for testing. The globs contained human white blood cells. The substance was then brought to the State Department of Health of Washington for further analysis. With another startling reveal, they discovered the gelatin blobs had 2 types of bacteria, one of which is found in human digestive system. However, no one could successfully identify the blob and how they were connected to the mysterious sickness that plagued the town. Yeah, very strange. And I just can't help but wonder if it's connected to those towers they've got out there. They keep threatening this Cascadia subduction zone. And I don't know. Those things seem like they could drum up a lot of energy. A lot of energy. Now, one other thing that happened recently out there on the Olympic Peninsula was at Quinault, which is a big old growth rainforest. And one night there was, and the meteorology, and you can go and look at all the activity for that night. It was quiet as a mouse. Nothing going on out there. Yet we had a massive tree fall. And we're talking about some major treeage. Big ones. Let's see if I go up here. I can... Well, hopefully they'll show us some. If not, I'll show you guys some... Oh, here we go. Look at these trees just snapped. Hundreds of them. Oh, it was reported by Bill Bacchus. You don't say. Okay, so let's go ahead here and read this. An unexplained incident happened in the forest of Olympic National Park on the shores of Washington State, and Park Service officials and scientists have been left baffled by lack of definitive explanations. In the early morning hours of January 27th, you don't say. What day is it today? January 31st? A year later? Yeah. A year later. That doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy either. An extremely powerful force of some kind knocked down over 100 trees along the north shore of Lake Quinault on Washington's Olympic Peninsula. While high winds or some other meteorological phenomenon were immediately assumed to be the cause, weather data show that nothing out of the meteorological ordinary occurred. So then, what exactly happened in the woods of Washington that night? Yeah, what in the world would take down 100 old growth trees? And you can see they're snapped down at the bottom. It's not like a wind that came in and snapped some tops off the trees. They're cracked down at the bottom. The unexplained tree fall was first reported by Bill Backus, chief scientist of the Olympic National Park, who wrote to the meteorologist and weather blogger Cliff Mass for his expertise on the mystery. In this message to Mass, Backus described a surreal scene of massive old-growth trees splayed out in a semicircular pattern broken off at their bases. Most of the trees appeared to be wind-thrown, but as you can see from the photos, many were also broken near the base. The amount of trees down was inconsistent in some areas. Nearly every tree is down, but the majority of the areas seem to have lost about 40 to 60% of the standing trees. Near the drainage outlet, the trees seem to have fallen southeast, while the western edge trees were oriented more north-south. In the eastern edge, the trees were closer to east-west. That would, if I'm reading that correctly, that would mean it was kind of like a circular energy that flung them out into like a circle. Mass immediately began combing through all the available meteorological data for the night of the incident, looking for any wind patterns or microbursts which might explain the tree fall. Immediately he noticed that whatever caused the trees to fall, it was also powerful enough to trigger a localized seismic event picked up only by sensors nearest to the epicenter of the tree fall. Well, yeah, you got 100 trees falling, you might pick that up. I imagine it was thunderous. Still, weather data from that night show nothing anomalous. No extreme changes in temperature or dew point, low wind speeds and pressure following a weak downward trend. There was a front of warm air flowing in from the south at the time, but such fronts are not usually known to cause dangerous microbursts. On his blog, Mass writes that such little clues leave this incident a total mystery. And then it says down the bottom, a rough and tumble Sasquatch mating ritual does sound intriguing, but unlikely. Everyone knows Sasquatch venture south for the winter. Could someone unknown meteorological phenomenon be the cause, or something stranger afoot in the Pacific Northwest? Well, I've got my bet on Stranger Things. And actually, I think it might have something to do with this. Electromagnetic war games over the Olympic Peninsula. The U.S. military has also taken a renewed interest in the Olympic Peninsula and its lush forests. The U.S. Navy plans to conduct war games over the peninsula using Growler jets to simulate electromagnetic warfare. Many residents and visitors feel that these exercises threaten local ecosystems and communities on the Olympic Peninsula, and they set a dangerous precedent for military exploitation of public places. Bear with me, folks. It's 6:30 a.m. I'm still rolling. Okay. Just kind of stumbling on my words. I think I'm just about done here, but we've got a little bit more to go through because it's just like, I said in my last post, there's not time to be sleeping right now. Not really. I honestly should be packing up and getting the hell out of Dodge, which I don't even know. I mean, I just know I don't want to be around the Puget Sound. But, man, if they're doing electromagnetic shit, who knows? I've been fooled before. I know that in November, I was in Eastern Washington several times that month, and nothing happened. But better safe than sorry. Anyway, I will link up this stuff to the video. I'm not going to read it all to you, but there you have it, folks. And that looks exactly like those tanks that I showed going down I-5 with their little laser things on there. Those aren't guns. I don't know what they are. And why are they painted green? I'm used to seeing like Desert Storm type military stuff, but now it's all painted ammo green like it would blend into the Olympic Northwest. Does not bolster confidence at all. So, the next exhibit I'd like to show is the CenturyLink field. And you can see here it's a stadium built like a turtle. Looks just like a dang turtle. And for those of you that haven't been following this story, there's videos in my playlist that will tell you all about it. We'll even pop over here to is it this one? Yep, here we go. The Economist 2015 cover has a bunch of predictive programming. It's a Rothschild banking family of England publication. And this, I think, pretty much kicked off the whole investigation into this, honestly. But one of the big clues we've got here, let's see if I can blow this up. There we go. Get out of here. Look at that turtle. We've got the football. We've got the battery. We've got this kid eating the noodles, which, if you look at the World Order video, Let's Start World War III, we've got the Asian guy eating a cup of noodles. We've got the Pied Piper. We've got a ghostly looking guy with, it says, vacation trip or something like that. Like he's going to go on a vacation. What does that mean? We've got the rocket. We've got Angela Merkel doing her weird triangle sign. Of course, we got Hillary in there. I probably already said it, but Pied Piper, we all know what that means. We got the rocket. We've got the nuclear blast in the background. We've got 2, 10, 10, 220, 2020, and a skeleton looking hand over here. We've got, is that the cat from Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Catter? We've got the baseball. We've got these arrows, 11.5 and 11.3. Well, there's a couple of things you could do with that. But what I think it's saying is 11 times 5 is 55, 11 times 3 is 33. Add them up, you have your 88, which is half of 44, which is split down to 22, which goes down to 11. You got your master number, you got your master builder number, you got your 44 that they're obsessed with, and also the 88. Right there, arrows, boom. I gotta stop saying that because it's not funny. I've been programmed to say boom, and I don't know why. It doesn't, like I said, it's like right in plain sight, everyone. It really is. Okay, so we've looked at these symbols here. Where's my CenturyLink? Okay, let's go back to CenturyLink field. It's a turtle. It looks just like a turtle. one other thing that Matt Green showed too was that the predictive programming in the Dark Knight, they're blowing up the football field and they show room 322, and which is a skull and bones number. And I was thinking about 322. Wouldn't that be 1/1/2020? You got your 1/1, which is in Roman numerals, that's 2. And then you've got 2020, so you got 3 times 2. 322. Another thing that's interesting about 20 is 9/11. 11 plus 9 is 20. That's very weird, I think. But what I really want to show you here is this picture here. Does it look like we've got an X and an X, which would represent in Roman numerals 10 and 10, which would be 20? And I did add this up before. Let's see here. The green patches 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is it? 1, 1. Somehow, if you add up the other white lines, you get a weird number too. I can't remember exactly how I did it, but it's there. You just have to look at it long enough and you're like, oh, I see what they're doing. One other thing to point out about this, it's kind of a... Will they let me see this? No, not really. I guess we'll have to bear with this photo, but maybe this one. It's a little better. This here is called the crow's nest or the hawk nest. And it's built just like a pyramid. It's got 33 seats. And it goes all the way up, seating. And the only thing it's missing is the capstone. But the capstone's right across the street at the Pyramid Brewery. They got 2 big old pyramids right there, right across the street from the stadium. I shitteth you not, as Martin Liedke would say. Martin, if you're listening, I love you, brother. You're so good. You've taught me so much. Now, another thing, too, that I wanted to bring back full circle on this is the Xbox. Would you look at that? Sure looks a lot like that, doesn't it? Same colors, got your X's. And the other thing is Xbox has now got the Xbox One. What does that stand for? One World Government? Xbox One? My mind wanders, but it definitely looks a lot like the same thing. And if you think about it, Xbox, okay, X is 10, B is 2, X is 10. So you've got 2 10s and a 2 in the middle, you got your 20. And then 1, it could be 1/1/2020, for all I know. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a connection there. And of course you got the Wii, which the U represents 20 in Roman numerals. So you got 20, 20, and then these 2s right here, or I. 1/1/2020. Could that really be what that means? I don't know. Oh, yes. And then, of course, we've got Comet. 20% more. 20% more. And then down here it says, why Olympia? Couldn't help but notice that. And then, if I can get any closer on this, I don't know if I can. Down below it says 25.2 ounces net weight. Interesting. Interesting. $21 ounces. They seem to change it. 20% more comment with the comment right on the front. And it says Olympia. Now, in closure to this video, I want to bring up this picture that I took. It's painted on the side of CenturyLink Stadium. And I really did, I mean, you can get a lot of different things out of this picture. And I did think that it was saying 11:11. Could have been saying 11:3 too. And I think the reason I was thinking that is because look at this finger, look at this hand here. Have you ever seen one that's got this missing? It almost looks like a devil. Like his face. Doesn't it? Jeez. It's really creepy. But what I've come up with now on this is another thing that keeps me up at night. I think about this picture a lot, and there's something to it. Just like with The Economist, they've got the hands up, and there's always some sort of coding. But if you look at it, you got these two big towers with like these all-seeing eyes on the top. Then you've got over here like a peace sign, and it's kind of pointing inwards, almost like a parentheses, like it's a container. So you've got two, and then you've got another one over here doing the same thing, two, pointing inward. So you got your 2020 right there. You got your 1-1-2020, but it gets better because if you go and count, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, which is 11. And 11, what I'm starting to realize, what 11 means is actually 22. 1, 1 being somehow representing 2. Are you following me on that? So you got your 1-1-2020, which would be like in a Greco-Romano building, they'd have 6 columns to represent that. You got your 1, and then 2 that represents a 2, and then another 2 columns, you got another 2. And then going back to the 3-2-2. Anyway, this is painted on the side of CenturyLink Field. And some of you eagle eyes out there, hopefully you can give me a hand on this, but I don't know. I've been looking at it and I think there's something to it. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. And then, of course, we've also got in the Temple of Justice in Olympia, this picture, which has fire raining down. If you watch my intro video, it shows there's like a comet or a fire or a UFO. I don't know what it is, but it's raining flames down on the people and they're in distress. And then little turtle, see him? He's hanging out. He's not being affected. He's having a good time. And then here, you probably can't really see it. Let's see if I can blow this up. It says Christmas 1844. Fort Vancouver is temporarily halting. Oh, Vancouver is a temporary halting place before they venture to the Puget Sound country. Oh, they're bringing their turtle with them, I see. How cute. Now let's finish this off with, well, I've got so much to show you guys. I got star forts. I've got circuit board cities up here. Ancient geometry. We've got Scottish Rite masonry coming out the yin yang. So, what I want to show now, let me go ahead and get rid of some of this. It's getting in my way. Like I said, people, I'm not a content creator. I'm an accidental content creator. Okay, so Lawrence Halprin in the East Capitol campus in Olympia, Washington. I had no idea because I've seen this fountain a few times and never knew it was called the Water Garden and never knew that it was built by some crazy Zionist architect. But if you look at it, it's got some pretty crazy patterning in it. And this guy, Lawrence Halprin, went on to do most of this artwork in Washington State and in Portland. He did the Lovejoy Fountain. He did Freeway Park, the Ira Keller Fountain, and it's all got this 1111 or whatever kind of. I say 1111 because I originally thought that that's what it was telling us in here, this code. And I think I have some better pictures for sure of this. If we go back to my main video. Here it is in its full glory. You can see. You can see here. It's everywhere, and there's a badge here. Let's see if I think I
Here of a person before, when I was fast asleep, as they say.
That's weird. Anyway, this stuff is everywhere. I'll show you. Actually, it's probably in this video. Oh, this is that here is a rock wall that is out in the middle of nowhere. Who built that thing? Is that star fortage? I don't know, but it's pretty bizarre. I mean, there's no explanation for why this big rock wall, and it goes forever. It keeps going. Interesting. This looks like a little notch of twos. Here we've got these weird rocks, and that to me, well, that's the XP, inertia flat plane symbol right there. Here's the Temple of Justice. It's got 11 stairs and then 9 stairs, 9, 11, and then 22 columns across the top with 2s on the side with what appear to be fash with 1s inside the these placards. See if I can get you to this Freeway Park. I know I put some in here. Oh, this is interesting. These all add up to 1/1/2022. Oh, look at that. You've got the 2, with the circle and 2, circle. Very interesting. There's a better view of it. See what I'm saying? 2020. Now here, we've got some really disturbing looking stuff going on, but look at that, down there in the corner, hiding, little turtle action. There he is. Now here's Freeway Park in Seattle. So we've got the sculpture in Olympia, we've got another one he did, and they paid buco bucks for this guy to come in and do this. Look at this. Now, here, I want to point something out. And it's the same story with the cubes in Olympia. In Olympia, we've got 4 quadrants. There's like a northwest and a northeast and a southeast and a southwest quadrant. And in each quadrant, there's 11 cubes. There's 11 that are vertical. It's like kind of interspersed like you're seeing in some of these blocks here, although these are all vertical blocks. And when I say vertical, I mean the lines that are in the blocks, but up there you can see there's some that are horizontal. What I found is that there's 11 blocks in each quadrant that adds up to 44 total. And there's 22 that have horizontal lines and 22 that have vertical lines. So it's obviously very, very meticulously planned out. Now, I'll show you what I mean. And every single one of these does this. I was there for hours going through each one, validating this. So starting from left to right, I'll show you. Okay, so we got cube 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let me tell you something here. The ones here that are in the middle, those are actually part of the fountain. So they get excluded. They're not counted into the count. So I'm not going to be counting those. Like these ones over here. Those are not part of the equation, okay? Starting from left to right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now if we go over to this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it doesn't matter which way you go and count these blocks, they always equal 12. And at first I thought they were 11, but now after a closer look, it is 12. Well, it could be either way. I mean, it's not an exact science, but whatever it is, it's like perfect symmetry here. Because I wasn't sure if this little piece at first was being counted, but it does count because it's part of this bigger block. But yeah, no matter which way you slice this thing, it adds up every time. And then of course we've got the Lovejoy. And that's right across the street, and it's on Olive Street. This is the same designer that did that. You can see here. Now this is the Irv Keller in Portland, and it's the same thing as we've got in Olympia. There's also one in San Francisco. There's one in San Diego and Los Angeles, Denver. There's one in Washington, D.C. All displays this, okay? What I'd like to show you here, though, is starting from left to right. On these platforms, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The stairs going in and out of this place all have the same code into the architecture. And This is Lawrence Halprin. This is Lawrence Halprin's work. This is in Portland. Okay, so with Lawrence Halprin, let's go here. Oh, this guy, Laurie Allen, he's a big famous architect too, and I like to point out something interesting about his little video here. They always do these weird hand signals, but he's got 3 chairs, 3 rungs, and the 11s. Even in his little video, it's almost like it's staged, right? Here's Lawrence. He's got the Levi's Plaza in San Francisco. Working for Tommy Church. This is the one I want.
I think that I fell so directly into art forms and landscape architecture and architecture is because of my parents. My parents were very influential about my becoming something because they knew I painted and drew a lot. And my mother particularly used to take me to museums. She'd go shopping at Macy's.
You guys see the patch?
Every Saturday, and she'd drag me along. And the reason I liked it was because I'd get ice cream soda in Schrafft's on the way up on Fifth Avenue, literally. And they made wonderful Schrafft's, and so I would do that. And then at the end of it, I'd go to the Museum of Art. But she constantly supported my artistic feelings and so forth. And she, in that sense, was a mentor for me. And my father as well. He was not, now that I say that, he used to make little sketches as well, now that I think about it. But he was very busy making a living. And the 2 of us took me on this grand tour through Europe and ended up in Israel. And that's how, at the age for my bar mitzvah, that's how I happened to be in Jerusalem at the end. And and my mother was a Zionist of very big importance. She was the president of Hadassah, and she also was an assistant to Ben Gurion, the first prime minister of Israel. And so they both had an effect on me politically and socially and artistically in that sense. They must, both of them, be admitted that they're mentors. They were mentors for me.
Well, folks, I don't know what else to say about that. Except for, I will show this. Actually. This one.
Hello, and welcome to
Okay, here's these world order guys. This is interesting. We've got 66, of course, but 11, 9, 11. 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. The 12th man. Found that to be interesting. And they do that all the time. All the time in these pictures. Of course, we got the Seattle Legion of Boom. Here we go with these numbers again. This is the Washington State Data Center. And this apparently is the backup generators for the data center. But it's not part of the same building at all. And then there's these guys the other day out there doing electrical work. Kind of suspicious, but somewhere in here we go. Oh, this is Lions. I'm just gonna let it play. Okay, boom. Here's these numbers again. 11, which could be, got your 31. 25 is like a crazy number in numerology. I'm not sure what it all means, guys, but picture is worth 1,000 words.
Poly Prep, which is a wonderful prep school in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh yeah. Took a little tour of the Capitol building. And guess what I saw? Does that fireplace look like a fireplace to you guys? Mm-mm. We've got some Antiquitech here. Big time. There's 2 of them on each side of this big room. But you can see this is obviously not a fireplace for making a fire. That is electric. That's free energy right there, guys. Those of you who know. Here's a better picture. Of course, they've got the flag with the yellow fringe and the eagle on top, which means who knows what, but a lot of people think that means that it's martial law. Admiralty martial law. Oh, yeah. The Columbia Room, 9/11. The visitor services, 111. And I should add that every single building in that whole campus is the Department of Natural Resources building is 1112 Washington Street. The courthouse is 1110 Capitol Way. You've got 1111 Sid Snyder Avenue. It's the Capitol Dome, I believe. It's just, what's this play on these ones? No wonder everybody thinks. Here we go. There we go. That's what I wanted. I'm getting closer, guys. Sorry to bounce you around like that. That adds up to 11. There's the Temple of Justice. Got the 2s on the end, with the 2s up here with the fash, and then 18 across, which adds up to 22. Got your master builder number, got the master number, you got a 911 going up the stairs, and then you've got that weird picture with a comet and a turtle and flames flying down on everybody in that building. More cup of noodles than this guy, these one New World Order guys. Here we go. So they start off in like Tokyo or something, and then they fly to Seattle and start dancing around this pig. Which I forgot to point out. Let's go back over here to this. I don't know if you can see it or not, guys, but right here on this guy's coat, there's a piggy bank with like some sort of smoke coming out of his ass or something. But interesting that we've got this video with the golden pig. I go into greater detail on that in my other video, so if you want to know more about the year of the pig and the three little piggies, watch that video. Now these are the shipping apparatus in the port of Seattle. And at first I thought, yeah, that's 11.3. But maybe not. Maybe not. Who knows? It's kind of weird though. It's definitely... You guys, if you had one coincidence or two, okay. But everything. I mean, I can't even stress it enough. Everything has this code in it. Okay, well, what I was going to try to show you, you probably saw it, but there's a picture in here with Lawrence Halprin. Oh, guess I should show you this while we're at it. And then I'm going to call it a wrap for the night. Oh, yeah. Here's the city of Olympia in the early days. Look at that. How did they build all those buildings with these muddy ass streets? They got shovels out. They're digging those buildings out, aren't they? That's what they're doing. They didn't build them. I'm quite certain of it. How could you build it with that little wagon wheel and some 2x4s? Give me a break. Of course, we got our share of that chemtrailing out here too, just like everybody. Here in front of the city of Seattle Police Department, we've got these blocks. What are they saying? Look at that. Okay, here's another pig in the Seattle Police Department. Same kind of bronze pig as they have down at the Pike's Place Market. Pike's Place Market. Where's my picture of Lawrence? Anyway, he's got a bolo tie that has a turtle on it. There it is. See that, guys? And I'm pretty sure that's like a Freemasonic ring there too. And of course, he's got the eye patch over the right eye. Just too many synchronicities, guys. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? What do you think? Let me know. Love to hear from you. It's crazy town. What's going to happen tomorrow or today? I don't know. Maybe nothing. Maybe something. I don't know. It's a little late in the game to even... I don't know. What do you do? I guess that's Murphy's Law. One thing I can tell you is that I'm not scared. It is what it is, and if you, I don't know, you just can't be fearful of this type of stuff. Just know that you're going to be all right, and that there's a larger plan, and I don't know. But everything seems to be gearing up towards it. We had the bomb cyclone storm over Thanksgiving. We've had the little Christmas gift from North Korea keep threatening us with the Cascadia subduction zone. Of course, we have the Paradise fires. We've got Australia on fire. We've got Yellowstone acting up with the Old Glory, geysers going off. We've got alien disclosure. We've got this weird Google artwork with what appears to be a comet coming down on the Puget Sound. I don't know. What are they trying to tell us? It kind of seems like, I don't know, pretty obvious to me, guys. Anyhow, that's a wrap. It's 7:14 in the morning, and this is way past my bedtime. I can usually hang till like 1 or 2, but this is out of control. Anyhow, chemtrails out. More videos to come after a little bit of rest. Peace, love, happiness. Love to hear from you. Talk to you soon.